The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello there, Propaganda is the show brought to you by Levi Solicitors. 10% off your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. 15% off for the next couple of days on conveyancing instructions before that discount reverts to 10%. Have a look at levisolicitors.co.uk for more information. I'm Dan Moylan, with me Michael Normanton.
Hello.
And of course Moscow White, Daniel Chapman.
Hello.
Propaganda, the show where we find out what's been said about Leeds United. In the first part of the video, we found out what the Leeds reaction was to the West Ham defeat. Now in part two, let's get the Cockney reaction from West Ham. What did you think? I have not seen any of this because I refuse, when we lose, to indulge in any form of reaction to our games.
Or show preparation.
It's what makes it organic and natural, Moscow. Don't talk me down. What is to be found here, Michael?
Fruit and veg.
Fruit and veg.
Apples and pears.
Jellied eels, cockles, whelks.
Loving one's mum.
Other seafood that, I don't know, other people don't eat. It seems to only be Cockneys, doesn't it?
A nice day at the seaside.
At Southend?
If they've got a seaside.
I think they have.
Yeah.
They were all right, actually, the West Ham fans. I struggled to find any properly unhinged ones. I think they've just stayed, even though they've been a Premier League team for a while, I think they've stayed below that level where they've attracted a new breed of unhinged.
Don't let that silly stadium confuse you, because I still consider them Upton Park. It's not that nonsense. I presume one day they'll go back there.
The stadium is something that the fans don't like, and that's to their credit, I think, that they've not got on board with it.
Yeah, when you're too busy trying to dismantle a former Olympic stadium and fight all the stewards, you haven't really got time to do a little post-match video on your phone, have you?
Anyway, what have we got?
This is the West Ham way, which I've not actually included.
The West Ham way.
Exactly. Bobby Moore, we won a World Cup and all that.
Frank Lampard.
But this is in because I've not actually included a clip of them talking about the game, because they just said it was good and they enjoyed it. They thought they deserved to win, which, it's not massively controversial, is it? But instead, I've just put in a little clip of their intro music, because it's the most Cockney thing imaginable. It's like if
looking forward to
it'd
this.
be like if we made. It'd be like if we made a fake West Ham Cockney intro.
You listen to the West Ham Way podcast with Dave and X. Oi, oi.
There you go.
I love that.
I think that justifies every funny voice I've been doing for the last 2 minutes.
It really does. Because I thought we were being lazy there, just indulging in lazy tropes. No,
I've heard that.
Nope. Oi, oi.
Hey!
Is he wearing his pearly king?
Lovely.
Great.
Coming round the corner, I know they're leading an horse and cart.
We just need to pause the recording. My whippet's just outside. I just need to go feed her. Anyway, next one.
West Ham TV, which is a YouTube thing. So this is a bloke outside the stadium chatting to people, as in Elland Road Stadium, not the Olympic Stadium, which is a weird shopping centre during the week, isn't it? When there's no football going on there, there's just an expansive. There's a big slide.
You saw Guns N' Roses there.
I did. That was fine. They're not there.
Not on the slide. I mean, in the stadium.
Yes.
Although Axel may have gone down the slide, we don't know that for a fact.
He's quite a big boy now. I'm not sure he'd necessarily fit down the tube.
It'd probably be a good place to do those kind of post-match stuff, the Westfield. Because you can sit outside Pizza Hut or something and chat about the game instead of... Because I saw a bit of these, because they've only got that compound outside the West End to play with, the kind of
Stalag Beast
purge between the turnstiles and the banqueting suite. Whereas if you could, sit down at... name a chain restaurant.
Est.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know how I could not name a single chain restaurant.
Prezzo.
You could find a nice little seat outside Café Rouge.
Yep.
Which
has gone bust. I think Café Rouge might have gone bust.
Wimpy.
All right, Café Patisserie.
Yeah. Wendy's.
Valerie Patisserie.
That's gone bust as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since
Woolworths,
Amy Winehouse hasn't been running Valerie. Does that even?
Yeah, he does. It does sort of scan. Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it was the Zooton song originally, but let's not get into that.
No,
they're never going to run a cafe, though, are they?
Why don't you come on a patisserie, Val? No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We could have saved them. Well, it might be for sale. Should we buy out of
No, let's get on with the show.
Speaking of
money on Derby.
Speaking of failed restaurant ventures, I'm not sure it was quite visible on this one, but I know on the Liverpool one you could just see the little glimpse of Howard's on in the background, the Ken Bates. upscale restaurant
Folly.
in downtown Beeston, which didn't quite work out. Is that a bar for away fans now? Is that all it's used for?
I think so, yeah. It was being used in the promotion season at the start of it and halfway through the season before for post-match press conferences.
Wasn't it a changing room last season?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So it was part of that last season, although they've now built, they've double stacked some porter cabins in that area now to resolve all that.
I just love the idea of like away players, they're getting changed in there. There's, I don't know, soiled jock straps getting thrown around in Howard's, which is what I'm sure Ken Bates envisaged when he had the place converted. It looked like his favourite restaurant in Monaco.
Which is mental because when I went in there for the first few Bielsa press conferences before, essentially what happened was like too many backpackers from France were getting in and asking these really long convoluted questions. So they basically said, right, proper press only.
And that's when you were turfed out.
That's when I was turfed out. But whatever, I was
and rightly so.
All I was doing was standing there and just staring at Melier, staring at Bielsa, like, I can't believe I'm in a room. So I got everything I needed out of it. But yeah, it was just like a dingy bar with kind of like wood panelling and a really low ceiling as well, because it's the ground floor of a football stand that was built in 1957. So
people were shorter then, weren't they?
They were, and it had a kind of a sunken. It's hard to work. There was a bit of an illusion of a sunken floor because it was underneath.
That's where the bodies are buried.
An octagonal fake skylight that had been built to give it this sort of fake ship vibe. I've never been on a cruise ship, but it had that kind of. They tried to build that cruise ship idea, but then you look at the bar in this wonderful high class restaurant, and it's just got Foster's, John Smith's, and Strongbow hand pulls there, and it wasn't. It didn't strike me as the most upmarket place.
I feel like we've gone a little bit off piste, but let's come back on
a little bit.
Yeah.
This is outside the ground anyway, so he's chatting to your West Ham TV man. He's chatting to someone about
something
about their day at Elland Road. People quite like Elland Road. Is it because Liverpool fans enjoyed it? I mean, admittedly, it's probably because we keep letting teams win.
He was talking to some slag, wasn't he? Had some slag outside the ground.
And listen, the support again was formidable. We don't do nothing.
I'm going to be fair from both sides, I thought.
Yeah, but you know what you get with Leeds. You know what I mean? They take 5,500 on a Wednesday night to Fulham.
Yeah.
All right, maybe not everyone comes from this area or whatever. They might be Londoners, like we see a lot on the train. But they're a very well supported club. They love their team, and obviously the boys behind the goal there were letting us have it. We were letting them have it. It was a good bit of banter, but yeah, by and large, they're another one of the best supported sides in the league. So, and we're up there with them. So, I mean, we've got, like you say, we've got to take all the positives, which I think there were a lot in the second half. Moores will have them back again, and then we go again. So, enjoy this one. Hopefully, we all get home safe. It's a bit of a hostile place to come. So, yeah, enjoy it. Let's go.
Brilliant. Cheers, Marshy. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
What Marshy's done there as well, he's gone from talking about the game from a fan's perspective into doing like a post-match interview by a footballer. Saying, we'll go again, the boss lever's ready.
Back in. Moyes is going to have him back in. I'd love the idea that that's maybe an option. Moyes just go, I don't want to see him this week. Fine, see you when's the next game? See you then.
He's gone part Football Manager, and then at the end, because it's the Cockney stereotype, he's had to go Danny Dyer at the end as well. I hope we get home, say. You know what I mean? It's a few... Nova mad on me trotters. Yes. Back to the station.
He was quite close as well. He was like, they love their team, love their mums.
What's this about a dildo, by the way? Because I can see the word dildo on the sheet in front of me.
We'll come on to the dildos soon enough, as the saying doesn't go. This is another bloke, first of all, that he was chatting to outside the ground.
You can't rush into a dildo, Dan. We've got to build up to it slowly.
Exactly. Get into it in your own time. Take your time with it. Yeah. That's what I would say. So this is...
Why?
Because this guy's in front of it.
Okay.
Because we're still chatting to people outside Elland Road at this stage, and this guy, you can hear why he's pleased with the result.
To come away to Leeds, it's not an easy place to come at all. Yeah. I mean, bigger teams have come here and lost. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm right in saying Man City, Arsenal.
When does he mean?
I mean,
in history,
it has happened.
Yeah,
it has happened. I've been there for it. Not for like 20 years or so, but...
A lot of stuff has happened in the past, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's how history works.
And then you have to go there afterwards and deal with it.
Is that the future?
So West Ham have done very well.
Yeah.
They've gone to a place where some stuff's happened before and won.
And done something else. Great.
But yeah, I did look it up. We last beat Arsenal at Elland Road in November 2000, which was Jimmy Hasselbank's goal.
The header?
That
The
late
diving
header.
header?
Yeah, so that was quite a while ago. And then, but we did beat Man City as recently as 2004 when Stephen McPhail and Mark Viduka scored. So he's right,
Practically yesterday.
more or less.
And I'm sure Man City in 2004 were the equals of the Manchester City now.
Now, I'm mindful of the algorithm here when I say these words, but talk to me about dildos.
Well, the offending dildo video was taken down. I didn't see it. I didn't see it before it was removed.
You're a lucky man.
But there was a dildo on a video
Okay.
on West Ham Fan TV.
I mean, can you contextualise that, because that opens up a world of possibilities. What's happening?
I think it was just someone. Although it does raise the possibility, I think, that someone has taken a dildo to Elland Road to wave around.
Well, they did it with that.
Well, Kevin Friend was there, wasn't he? Hey, there we go.
Sky Sports on deadline day. People were.
Was that Norwich?
Well, it became a bit of a thing, didn't it? That people were smuggling sex toys into the background of transfer news stories. So I don't know.
Remember the algorithm, Moscow. Remember the algorithm. Mr. YouTube's listening.
Enjoy your dildo adverts, everyone.
Chad will sort the algorithm out for us. So I think it was just that they were doing one of these fan TV videos outside the ground. Somebody in the background was comically, in their mind, waving around a dildo, and then the person who runs the channel does a kind of a it's the morning after, they call it, and it's maybe an odd video because he looks like he's had a heavy night. He's been to Leeds the day before. It's a long way home. You're on a beige, and then he gets up in the morning and kind of he's crouching next to what looks like his sort of his kitchen window in his backyard, and like leaning against it. I don't know why he doesn't just sit on a bench talking into his phone, and he seems quite tired where he's doing like a next day discussion of the game, and but the title of the video and what is dominating the conversation is it's an apology video to all the people who it seems were so outraged by what they saw,
right,
that the video had to be taken down.
Okay.
And here's the apology.
On Dom's fan cam, there was a guy that was branding around a sex toy in the background of the videos, and I laughed and I uploaded the video and all that sort of stuff, and we see quite a few complaints from people in the comments, and we always take advice on what the comments do say, and I fully take that on board. People watch the channel with their children and everything else, so we'll try and be more careful in future. This channel is not really for children.
This one is. What? Daddy, it's Cockney, isn't it? Daddy, what's that fella holding there?
Yeah,
I've seen one of those.
Why has he got that out of Mummy's drawer? Etc.
Yeah, you beat me to the joke, you wanker.
Sorry.
That's only about 30 seconds out of what is a long, quite rambling apology. He's obviously taking it very seriously, but then after saying, this channel is not really for children, goes on to make the points that they do flag it as explicit content.
Yeah.
But then goes from that to saying, but we might start thinking about making it more family friendly in the future. I don't know how much more family friendly they can make it than not festooning the screen with
people
dildos
won't realise, though,
24/7.
you've got to grade how rude your video is. Like on YouTube, you've got to say, has it got a bit of mild language? Like, they've just permitted the use of the word bitch, by the way, inside the first 30 seconds, because this is what the algorithm does.
And shit.
Yeah, and shit. So it punishes you if you use like naughty words in the first 30 seconds. But you can get away with a few F's and Jeffs later on.
The Crufts podcast just breathed a huge sigh of relief.
I feel like if it could have gone on forever with that part, I've let myself down.
It was like that.
Me mother down.
There's still that
a Queen mother.
Was it the Little Britain sketch where they're doing the apology outside the front of the house for the disgraced MP kind of thing? It had that vibe.
There's the right amount of defiance, though, where he's kind of like,
But
it's not for kids, and so it's flagged for content. Maybe you shouldn't be watching it with your kids. And then
South African. Don't watch it with the kids.
And
I keep getting drawn towards Mary Poppins here and Dick Van Dyke's accent when Moscow.
I mean, can we say Dick Van Dyke? Is that family friendly? Are we going to have complaints?
Oh yeah, goodness, yeah. The algorithm.
Dick Van shit bitch. can say that, can't you? That's fine.
I think you can, yeah. Just not too often.
But short of the screen not being completely covered in dildos on their next videos, and I don't know how many changes they need to make. Stick to what you're doing. You'll be fine.
Is that it for West Ham then? Because next on the sheet is Michael Owen, which has done the rounds, hasn't it? But for the benefit of anybody who's not seen or heard this, talking about Elland Road, which honestly, if ever there was a clip that proves that punditry is just sitting in the studio and talking bollocks and saying the first thing that comes to mind, this is it.
Even if he looked at the Wikipedia page, he would know this. You don't need to have done any actual research. You just need to have looked at his list of clubs very, very briefly.
And you don't use Wikipedia for research. It was always one of the unwritten rules in my old job. You don't rely on Wikipedia. You get secondary sources for stuff.
And when you listen to this, because in case people have just kind of seen that this has happened and not heard it, there is a detail in here that takes it to the next level for stupidity.
Do you know, I remember watching him when he was about 16 at Leeds Academy, and he just looked the part. Leeds were dominating the game that I watched, and so he hardly had a touch, but you know, you just see someone and think he's got a chance just by his appearance, the way he spoke, positioned himself.
The way he
spoke. Who was he watching? Like Will Huffer, when he was in the Leeds Academy standing watching the under-18s play, he wasn't talking French, was he? Who does he think was there?
So did he say...
Who does he think Meslier is?
Did he say when Meslier was 16, was it? Is that what he said?
Yes.
Which has been, what, 5 years ago? Right, okay. I'm trying.
We did not have a French goalkeeper.
No. Certainly not a one with such baritone either.
And I don't know if...
Unless Bailey Peacock-Farrell has got a real...
But he's Northern Irish.
Yeah.
But that's the...
Oh, no. Get out.
That's the point with Owen that really takes it over. It's like, yeah, listening to him speak.
And also, Michael Owen has not watched a single fucking game of youth football. So pretend that he's watched that and has remembered it. He's stretching it so far.
If you remember that Neville Southall video where he's smashing balls past a 14-year-old goalkeeper and Southall has to calm him down, maybe he does watch youth football just to imagine, oh yeah, how many goals I'd score past that little wimp.
Right, can we trash Michael Owen some more, because you've got more clips here?
I mean, do we want to do it now, or do we want to...
stick on him.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stick on Michael Owen then. I mean, he's got form for this. Is the thing of talking bollocks, essentially. This one is a fairly famous clip of him. This is when he was he still playing at this point? I feel like you'll know, Moscow.
Yes, he was.
But he's been obviously paid by the Dubai Tourist Board or something to sit in a pretend helicopter doing a pretend flight over Dubai, talking about the things he can pretend to see.
Is he going, big buildings, oh, look at the beach?
Essentially, yes. But his delivery is so appalling and stilted that it just is, it's cringy. But it's worth digging out the full video of this, but this is just a little sample of some of the things that he says on it.
And this is no ordinary chopper. It's got special powers, and once we're airborne, you'll see just what I mean. Are you buckled up and ready? Great. Let's go and see Dubai. It may look a bit small from up here, but it is quite large.
Ooh.
Roger Federer and Andre Agassi actually played a game of tennis on it. And Tiger Woods stood on it and hit golf balls into the ocean. I'm glad they never asked me to play football on it. Now, let's go see where I own my apartments. My favourite place, Dubai Sports City. I'm throwing on the afterburners, so hold on. Hey, I think that's actually Sam Torrance down there, the ex-Ryder Cup captain. Let's just drop down a bit to check. Sorry about that, folks. Just a bit too low. The shatterproof glass came in handy, but I don't think Sam's going to be too pleased with us getting in the way of his drive.
Sorry about that, folks. Just a bit too low. We've killed a lot of civilians.
There's so many bad things about it.
The afterburners just stay in my mind constantly. Like this has been around for years, and I dread to think how many times my brain has just gone, I'm throwing on the afterburners. But it's not even that. It's, I'm throwing on the afterburners.
And as well, the fact that it's obviously a clip meant for fairly wide consumption, and it has to explain who Sam Torrance is, just to just in case anyone watching the video doesn't know, it's Sam Sands, former Ryder Cup captain, and here he is hitting a golf ball because he's a golfer. In case you also don't know what the Ryder Cup
with
is,
a golf ball.
Yeah. The donk is his drive hitting the helicopter. In
the
case
donk noise is
in
great.
case you hadn't pieced that together.
I think
storytelling.
You're right. Formerly worked in advertising person, Michael Normanton. Thank you for that. Jesus, imagine what his hot erotic chat's like. If that's anything to go by.
Thankfully,
I hope it doesn't involve helicopters. And
I am now entering the bedroom,
sticking on the afterburners.
Next.
Anyway, as a result of trying to find,
I am getting the dildo from the drawer.
As a result, actually, of trying to find his clip of him talking about Melier, I couldn't find. There was a longer one at some point. I was broken down. I couldn't find it anyway, but I did find that he is now the official ambassador for the Pakistan Football League. Were you aware of this?
I am now.
You are now. So this is him doing his little first introductory video to it. It's got a nice little Michael Jackson knockoff vibe to the music right at the start of it, but this is his delivery's not improved very much, but here he is.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael Owen and you've just seen me sign a 3-year deal to become the official ambassador of the Pakistan Football League. Best wishes to all my fans in Pakistan. Stay tuned to Pakistan Football League. Football Hoga.
There we go.
At least he's up front there. He says, "You've just seen me sign a contract. Yeah. I am doing this for the money." just in case you weren't clear, I'm not doing this because I like football or Pakistan. I'm doing this because they put this in front of me and it says I'm going to get £100,000 a year or whatever it is to do it.
And it's such a Michael Owen sell that as well. He's like, I know what people will like to watch. They'll like watching me sign the contract.
I am contractually obliged to tell you about this clip. This one sounds intriguing because there's no detail here. He really knows his stuff. No blagging going on. Let's have a listen.
It's very exciting that football, professional football, is about to be launched in Pakistan. Of course, the country has 220 million people, I think. So it's
Wikipedia again.
It certainly has a lot of scope for having a successful league and a successful national team in the future. Of course, those blocks have got to be built slowly and sustainably. But I do think that it was about time that Pakistan had its own football league. Football, of course, is the most popular game around the world, and I think it's exciting for everybody. I think the world will be looking in. I think for Pakistani people, it will be very exciting to have their own league, to have that competition, to have that rivalry, to love the team from the city you're from. So I think it's very exciting, but obviously it's very daunting in many ways as well, that the league needs to be run in the right way for improvement, to try to have so much excitement, but to be sustainable as well. So there's so many things to look forward to, but of course it's a serious business as well.
I wonder how many Pakistan League games he's been to. I would wager it's one at most when he's gone as a VIP guest and then he's never been back.
A man there fulfilling a word count. Or you've worked in radio, Dan. There must have been awkward bits where like a guest failed and you did fail to come on and you had to fill like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world.
And you're just really talking, and he starts explaining the concept of football more or less. Going, it's going to be good to have football, and people will be able to go to games of a team in their city, which would be good, and support them
against someone else.
And then it's going to be hopefully the league will continue to be good. The other thing that I picked up on it was he thought it was about time Pakistan had its own league.
Well, that's an interesting aspect of this, because for information, this is happening within the last 4 days. He has been announced as the brand ambassador. So this is brand new information, but he is entering into a situation where the Pakistan Football Federation have not been recognised for some time by FIFA, who are telling them to vacate their headquarters. And they've been running the Pakistan Premier League. But now these guys have come along. It's a private company who are founding the Pakistan Football League, trying to take advantage of this power vacuum in Pakistan's football structure to establish themselves as the dominant model. So, but they're not technically like the old Pakistan Football Federation is still there and still ostensibly runs what's going on. And then in the middle of it all, you've got Michael Owen sort of inserting himself into this quite a complicated political situation.
Do you think he knows about that?
To read pages of bits of Wikipedia, of course. I mean, everyone I already knew, but it's 220 million people in Pakistan. It's I don't know, again, just off the top of my head, it's the 30 I think it's the 33rd largest country by area. It spans some 881,913 square kilometres. It's got a big coastline too. It's obviously it's got like a 650 mile coastline.
I knew that, yeah.
I mean, I will confess that reading this is off of Wikipedia. That was a Times of India story, I think, from the previous bit. But now just to check what's happening with the current season. March 2021, the PFF, the Pakistani Football Federation's office, was attacked by its former president and his group, and the ongoing Women's Championship was cancelled. Major clubs protested.
Michael Owen remember seeing Ilan Meslier throw the first petrol bomb.
One of the teams announced it was pulling out, and because of the attack, people lost control of their headquarters, and then FIFA imposed the suspension.
This is
football
wild.
Activity was possible in Pakistan, and the men's Premier League was yet to start. But then the 2021 edition did start and has started, so it's currently, according to Wikipedia, it's like 6 or 7 games in, depending who you are. Khan Research Laboratories are top, unbeaten. They've won 4, drawn 3 with plus 19 goal difference, so they're pretty well placed ahead of WAPTA. And then in third place is the Pakistan Air Force, who I don't know if...
Great bunch of lads, by the way.
Well, I mean, they're doing better so far than the Pakistan Army, who are 8th, and then the Pakistan Navy are 11th. They're in the relegation places. But it seems like quite a serious situation for Michael Owen to be turning up saying, I've just signed a contract, and now there's going to be some football in Pakistan. There never has been before, they tell me.
I thought it was about time they had it.
Yeah.
So I've done it for him. I've put some in for him.
Any sign of the old Pakistan Coast Guard there in the league, or maybe the AA, the Fourth Emergency Service?
There's Pakistan Civil Aviation of 7th.
I mean, Michael Owen there was saying about, you know, being attached to your city and things. These all just sound like other things. I mean, one of them's, what was it, Khan Laboratories at the top?
Yeah,
Dancing in the streets of Khan Laboratories this evening.
Second place, WAPTA FC, is the it was founded as the football club of the Water and Power Development Authority.
Right.
Do you know, I feel like in listening to this, probably everyone now knows more about the league than Michael Owen does, who doesn't know much beyond the first line of Wikipedia, I think, is when it tells you the population of a country and how much he's getting paid. They're the two things he knows about it.
The club badge for WAPTA FC is a wonderful drawing of what looks like a hydroelectric dam and then a power pylon.
Oh, lovely.
That's good.
It's pretty good. And the camera won't work, but I'll hold it up anyway. Blah blah.
It's got it. Yeah, it captures. I think that really captures the emotion and the spirit of being a football fan.
But yeah, and I will confess, all of this is 2 minutes on Wikipedia trying to work out what the hell's going on.
Better than what we normally do.
I do feel like I've learned more about it than Michael Owen will probably ever know.
Well, let's close it out on Steve Nicol, because I would love to know what Steve Nicol made of this, because he would just... what would Steve Nicol say about the Pakistan dispute in the football authorities? He wouldn't even know, would he?
There's no point. What's the point of having a game? It's too warm.
You've got the gas company playing the electric company. What's that got to prove?
Anyway, what's he doing this week?
He's been talking about Spurs.
Right.
He had a similar thing last year. I think this was around Liverpool's defensive crisis, actually, that you've mentioned. Bear in mind, Steve Nicol was a manager for years, so as a manager you get injury problems, you get maybe not the players you want, but you find a way around it, don't you? You've got to think, well, if we change formation, we can maybe bring someone from the youth team, we could drop that back into midfield.
You have a handle on the challenges that the game presents.
But as a pundit, he's quite fatalistic about things, so this is him talking about Spurs and how they can get out of the situation they're in.
How was Spurs going to win again?
Yeah.
Because defensively, seriously, Sanchez and Dyer at the back, I think Lloris is past his best. I think in the middle of the park, they can't stop anybody getting at that back line. And they certainly can't feed the forwards any ball. So what does the midfield do? They don't actually do anything. So why is Harry Kane not scoring any goals? Well, one, he's not playing centre forward. And two, he's now become the guy who's trying to orchestrate things when that's just not... He didn't make his name doing that.
Sure.
Yes, he had a spell with Youngmin Song last year where it looked like this was a guy who could pick passes. But you know when it's expected, it's a completely different ball game. So, Arsenal, absolutely, there's a way out. Spurs, I don't see a way out.
Just swallow me up. The darkness needs to swallow me up. What I find most interesting about that clip, because again, going back to the radio thing, is the introduction there of the musical bed that was faded up behind him, whether someone in the gallery has gone, he's talking. In case he pauses, just pop like that disco bed on, add some energy to it.
They always do it with Steve.
Yeah. And then just in case, because he does do these really long, uncomfortable pauses when he's thinking, doesn't he? So someone in the background's gone, quick, just put that fader up. Oh, there we go. That'll add a little bit of energy to proceedings in case he stops, in case he loses his train of thought. And they've got 30 seconds in and go, oh no, he's fine. We'll just fade it back out again. He's absolutely fine. Good old Stevie. I don't know. He makes life a joy to be around, doesn't he? And improves the football world immeasurably. More than Michael Owen, I would say.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, at least Steve Nicol doesn't pretend to know anything, does he? He doesn't claim to have any answers. What do you think of Ilan Mellier? I don't know. I've not seen him. I've no interest in seeing him. I hate football.
Well, that wraps it up for this week then, doesn't it? On propaganda. Hopefully we will have... I mean, where are Watford from? They're not Cockneys, are they? But the Watford gap always confuses me in relation to the north and the south.
It's Hertfordshire, isn't it, Watford?
We certainly are Cockneys.
Watford's pretty,
How dare you?
Watford's pretty rough, in fairness. I think you're thinking more St Albans.
I'm devoted to my mother.
Well, we will get more propaganda for you after Watford, and in the meantime, do check out the main show as well. That'll be appearing in your feed, YouTube, and the audio apps, and we'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.